It doesn't happen every day that you sit in front of three beautiful women whose beauty just doesn't like in the looks, but also they are the writers, producers, actors, and everything that has to be done with Do Patti. Welcome to NDTV.
Thank you.
It's so great to see all of you playing so many roles in a film, you know, just not actors, just not producer, there's a writer, I mean so many things. But I have to come to you. I saw the trailer and I really like it. Kajol, so many, 32 years in the industry, first time playing a cop, I was like, ye kaise ho raha hai? Why haven't we seen as a cop? Nobody came to you with a cop character?
They did. A lot of people came to me with that. But I just felt that, playing a cop character, A for one, required responsibility. Number two, required a proper script, which was like really, really good. You need a really tight script for, to play a cop. And I'm very careful about these things. And I don't want to get it wrong. It's as simple as that. So yes, there is a certain, I hope that we have done it with, responsibly. That was the entire aim.
So should we say there are two Singham in the house, or is it only?
Never. There's only one.
There's only one.
I'm the OG. We've just declared it and established it.
The boss has spoken. Yes, absolutely. Kriti, let's come to you. I mean, I couldn't make out it's the same person, like the two characters. And how difficult was it? Like, you know how it is, we always say double role, wow. There was a time when double role was a thing.
Yeah.
And here you are playing a double role. How difficult was it and how did you break it? Did you play that one character throughout, then you went to the other? Kept switching?
Itna luxury nahi milti hai. Not at all.
No, when you're a co-producer, maybe.
Not
The
at
producer
all.
and her fainted when you have suggested that.
Yeah.
Puri ek picture pehle ek character
Also,
ko
that
dikhi.
can happen when you're doing something like, I don't know, like Sita Geeta, where they're in different places and then they meet at some point. Here, she had written a script with 70% of scenes having both there.
You complicated.
हाँ, so
Love
वो
to
possible
complicate
नहीं था. Yeah, so obviously I couldn't do that. But and the switch used to in a day also happen multiple times. We used to try to keep it as much as, one character and then switch to the other. But there were times where you have the camera blocked and technically it's just, you have to finish that shot. So my hair makeup team was also very confused. They were like, "Abhi, kaun si wali hai? Kya kar raha hai?" So I had to narrate the story multiple times to them because they would not understand what they were doing.
But did you follow a process of getting into that character and again getting back into this character?
See, I feel like you have to understand the two characters and what's going on in the scene and where they're coming from. Any character that you play, it happens with that. So for me, it was important to treat them as two different personalities and people. I used to, which I always do whenever I feel like the character has some sort of a body language. I try and, when I go from my vanity to the set, I try and get into that. The feeling of the character. So every time Shelly would enter, everyone around me also would catch that vibe because people would be happy and party mood and all that zone. You should actually ask Shahir. And when Soumya used to come, ऐसा silence or depression type
Soumya means also like that only, right? Soumya.
हाँ, exactly. Soumya माहौल हो जाता था actually.
Actually, it's another interesting thing you were doing, because 70% of the scenes were her with her, like Soumya and Shelly. So there was a body double who was playing the role, and there were emotional scenes and there were, confrontational scenes. So she would actually go and, rehearse with the body double as well to tell her that, I need this from you so I can give you this. So it is actually a lot of hard work to get that right emotionally also, for tonality also, apart from, of course, the director, shooting in a certain way and other technicalities, emotionally to kind of, from a non-actor to a certain extent, to kind of get that scene out and get it at that pace and perform two different variations of it in the same environment. I thought she did it brilliantly.
Also, what happens is when there are two girls in the same scene and many scenes like that, everyone is reacting to even the body double, right? So I have to physically and emotionally in my head also mark what she's doing while I'm performing this character. I have to tell her that she has to do, I will do that character like this.
So
this girl will come
she's your
from here.
co-actor more than...
Yeah. But I mean, that gets tricky because you don't get the same emotion. But you have to physically mark कि यहाँ से आ रही है, इस point पे ये हाथ उठाएगी नहीं उठाएगी. It gets restricting. But yeah, that's the challenge.
Wow.
It's fun. Like
It's different.
very.
Very different.
Yeah.
Bhai, matlab, a writer, now producer. I'm going to ask you what has been the biggest challenge now when you have turned a producer, both of you? And इन्होंने कितना सताया है काजोल?
मुझे तो बहुत सताया. I've been abused as an actor.
मैं set पे बिल्कुल producer
I
के साथ
have been abused as an actor. I want to come out and say it. I'm just telling you now, guys. Both of them have troubled me.
Madam,
Really troubled me.
You know, I think the most important thing is, like, as a producer, I've learned now that two things. One is keeping it together. You know, being calm in the eye of the storm, because there's so many other people, HODs, you know, talent losing it, but you have to keep it calm. And yes, she's sighing here because I'll tell you why the sigh. Because I usually am very blunt and I can, you know, I don't have filter and I can really express what I'm feeling in little, like, without any holds barred or whatever. And then Kriti was the one who was saying, Kanika, calm down. So yeah. You can tell that part, Kriti.
I had to like give her like eyes in some moments that रुक जा ये मत बोल देना, calm down.
So she used to give me
Both of you
lists.
sound very similar. You are also very blunt. Like ऐसा है तो ऐसा है.
No, I'm far.
also
No,
like
she's
that.
way ahead. I'm like nowhere in that
She's way
league.
ahead.
No, I am like still
What
like
did you
I
just say?
Way ahead meaning
Way
what?
ahead means what?
means you.
मतलब क्या है?
मतलब मेरा
नहीं,
मतलब है
मतलब
कि
क्या? आपका बोल दो.
you're much more bindas than me. I am like still like I measure a little bit. You don't like give it off. Done. That is way
Nothing
ahead
like
of
that.
me.
But that's what I
I'm not
think-
like that. You know me. I'm the most politically
You're a
correct person on
firecracker.
earth.
Yeah, we saw Durga Puja Pandal.
But I love that about her, guys.
Absolutely.
I genuinely
I
love
adore
that
that
about
bit.
it.
Yeah.
Because
We
there's
all
no,
love that about her.
There's
You
no
know,
like
it's very
अंदर कुछ
genuine.
और और बाहर
No
कुछ और.
filter, and also what we see is what we
What
get.
you get, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? It's very genuine and that's what is, you know, authentic.
Yeah. So
That's how you are, Kajol.
Like she's not really masking what she's feeling right now.
Yeah.
because you know your social media also, the faces that you make, all pictures are all over your social media.
My social media.
Yeah, your social media. Like your Instagram, you post these pictures where you're making faces. Like you are just yourself. This is how I am, because a lot of times actresses are trying to be someone else. They are not. But you are very real and everybody loves that about you. So
More so in today's world, you know. It's very refreshing to see her.
Now there's a new word, refreshing.
No, but it is. Otherwise, you know, one has to have a certain sort of a. One feels, you know, there's a pressure of being a particular way, but it's very brave of you to just be so unfiltered. I must say. In the best way possible.
what's going to happen once the camera switch off, I don't know, but they're all giving looks to each other. But you know, as a producer also, there have been times now that people have been talking about how difficult it has been with the kind of expenses that have come up as a producer.
Is this your dukti rag?
Totally dukti rag. I don't even know if I can speak. Okay.
But you know, how did you deal with it as a first-time producer?
You know, fortunately, as a first-time producer, I had a co-producer who's an actor. I have a very veteran actor who knows what it is like. I mean, it's not like one had to sit down and say, ki, "Arey, ye rehne dete hain," it's going to be very difficult. So I didn't have those issues per se. But generally, largely, so to speak, yes. I mean, I think you're referring to those entourage costs and other things that, you know, really, you know, balloon up the budget and you don't really see them, see the expense on the screen.
Yeah.
So as a creator, I do feel that, you know, there should be certain caps and measures to it, just because we can put all of that extra money into the film and make it bigger and better. So that's my stance on it. But as a first-time producer, because I had these great, you know, partners and talents to work with, I per se did not feel that pinch as much. But I do understand the producers who feel it and talk about it, because it is a very legit concern.
What about you, Kriti? Like, because you are also a first-time producer, I want to know what do you think about this?
About what?
About the entourage cost comes with the actors, and producers are talking about it, that it increases the expenses, and while we can pay the writers better, we can pay our editors better.
See,
What
there's
do you
no
think?
two ways about the fact that the writers, the editors, the people who are genuinely doing a lot of the work should be paid well. Having said that, Entourage cost, I feel, you know, I don't know what we're talking about because कुछ excess भी होती है. कुछ लोगों के Entourage में कुछ excess लोग भी होते हैं. So is it the requirement of the script? Is it the requirement of the character that they're playing? Those things have to be kept in mind. But I do feel like whether it's your hair, makeup, your costume, everything makes the characters, you know, and it's not. It's also something to be valued, but definitely don't go beyond to an extent of paying for another stuff and things. Aajkal to matlab there's food, there's this, there's that. Is it required for your character?
Something that is seen on screen, you mean?
Yeah,
that,
is
you
it
know,
seen on screen? No, is it required for the character? Do you have, if you're doing an action film, of course you'll require a trainer, a nutritionist and stuff like that. But if you're not doing an action film, if you're not really required to look a certain way, then are those the needed costs of the producer or are those costs of the actor? So those things have to be like taken care of, I feel.
And what do you have to say about this, Kajol, as an actor?
As an actor?
Yeah.
I'm an actor. That says it all. I am an actor. I am also a producer because, yes, we do have a production company. I would say it depends from film to film. I would say in certain cases, I do find it, some of the requests absolutely ridiculous. I do find it ridiculous. In some cases, as they say, I find the other side of it. You know, you have the other side of it, which is the producer side of it, and I find their requests sometimes as an actor ridiculous as well. So yes, there are two sides of the coin, and I think it needs to be taken from case to case. But yes, I definitely think that as an actor and as a producer, I think there definitely should be a cap on it, and if it does come down to that, then it probably will be done at some point if there is some law that needs to be made on it.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Kajol, coming to this character again, you know, playing a cop, we saw one thing, your dialect change, you know, when you're talking.
Yeah.
How did you have an expert who helped you with the dialect? How did you go about it? How to get into the character? And also, where you all shot? What a beautiful place.
Yeah.
How was the whole, the shoot like?
So we did have a dialect coach on set who irritated us no end. I want to tell you that. Very lovely guy, really sweet guy, very hardworking, but irritated us no end just because he was right.
Madam, ये वाला word.
हाँ, ये वाला बस इसको change कर दीजिए, बस ये ऐसे कर लेंगे. So yes, so we did work on it a lot, and it was not fun. But we did, like you said, shoot in a beautiful place.
Oh yes.
So I think also somewhere down the line when you use a different dialect, somewhere it affects your entire body language as well. It's not only about what you're saying, but it's about how you're saying it. And you don't only say it with your face, you say it with your entire body really. So yes, it was about that, and it was, again, there was a uniform, there was an accent, so it was all, you know, coming together. It took a few days, I would have to say that it took a day or two for me to even like kind of get used to hearing myself speak like that.
Us too.
Yeah. That too. And but so yeah, so actually I was really worried about it at the end of it. So when we came back from the Manali schedule, I went to her and I was like, you know, do you have 20 minutes of the film? I really need to see whether this is working or not, or do we need to like change the whole damn thing. So I sat and I watched 20 minutes and I was like, okay, थोड़ी सी मन को शांति मिली कि नहीं इतना मतलब it's okay, it's not, it'll pass by. So please watch the film and let me know what you think.
Your dialect was perfect in the trailer.
Just one more thing, since you spoke of the visual, I want to tell you that Bob, our director, he is one of the best ad filmmakers in the country today, and you know, the visual sense and the scale that he gets to the film. I mean, once you all will watch it, you'll know what we mean, because he's done a fab job, and we had a DOP, Mart. He was absolutely stunning. So a lot of credit apart from great locations, goes to Bob and Mart for building and mounting it in a certain way and deciding the final look of the film. So we're very lucky to have them, and we're very lucky for Bob to kind of lead the ship.
I think this is going great, but the last question that I have to ask, like I always ask mommies this question. Your kids are grown up now,
Right.
but still going back to work. How does it get difficult? Because as a mother myself, I always go through this. So I always want to know the perspective of what happens to home, what happens to you, because we are all working and we're managing.
If you're discussing the guilt, that's going to be there forever.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you're never getting rid of it.
That is.
Yeah, so and
But
if
your
you
kids
do
are
get
much
rid of
older,
it,
na?
if you
Doesn't
do
matter.
get rid of it, your children will habitually remind you.
Really?
Yes, habitually and forever they will remind you that other children's mothers are sitting at home and waiting
What
for
are
them
you saying?
and
Yeah, the
making
mother's
rotis
guilt.
for them and all that.
You're not spending enough
and
time.
you're not doing anything of the kind. So yes, it's forever. It's a forever deal. It's not you can't expect it to be over by the time they're 12 or 13.
Her mouth,
yeah.
her expression.
Yeah, there's a big O.
But your daughter was there on the shoot also, na, some days.
So yeah, there is that equation.
I remember her
She's-
getting jalebis.
She is very proud of me, except when it comes in the way of me going to meet her somewhere, or of her coming back. Mom, I've got back for 5 days, and you don't have time for me because I'm like, PV, I'm shooting. You're not supposed to come back for these 5 days. Otherwise, I would have taken that time off. So yes, that guilt remains for the rest of your life. It'll be there in different ways, but it'll be
Kanika?
there.
I know, no, absolutely right.
Saas le lo.
सांस ले लो कनिका, तुम तो पहले ही सांस ले लो.
But I'll tell you something.
He's only 3.
No. Thanks for reminding me. I thought it gets better, but clearly it doesn't.
Clearly
So
not.
I'll prepare myself. But I need to tell you one thing. As a mother, there's so many times during the making of the film that there were times when I couldn't reach for the dub, and there were times that I was supposed to land up somewhere and I couldn't.
Even he was not well on
Even
one
when he
shoot
was
and
not
you had
well,
to go back.
I had to go back. So, not once, I clearly remember my son was screaming and shouting in the back and I was supposed to reach the dub, but I couldn't. Not once, Kajol being a star saying, you've not landed up here. So I just thought I was so gracious when you know that I'm a working mom and my child is not well and not, making a big deal about it. And she came back for the dub, she rescheduled and came back for the dub again. So I thought I was very gracious of her. And I think a woman and a mother can understand that.
And women supporting women.
Yeah, and also
And
same
what
for
else can
Preeti.
happen? What
Absolutely.
No,
I mean, you have a men's club everywhere. You might as
Why
well
not have a
a
women's club, right?
absolutely.
Absolutely.
And same for Preeti, if I would just tell her, Preeti, let's shift the venue to my place, not one question asked. Most of my meetings have happened in my
Most of
place
them.
because I have a small kid and Preeti totally got it. And everything literally, she would travel all the way from her place to my place to do those meetings. So, very gracious and, yay.
But I have to give it to them how they multitask.
Yeah.
Her daughter being there on set and she's making sure she's spending time with her, going somewhere for like these treks and the jalebis and everything that was going on.
What's this jalebi
and
story?
shooting.
She got jalebis
No,
for
my mouth is watering. Those jalebis were outstanding.
Damn good.
But she's also very hands-on mom. I also was like, when I follow her social media, we're all stalkers, we all follow your social media profile. We are
I can see that.
Yeah. Of
But
course.
you're very hands-on.
It's
and
all
I'm
open
like,
here
wondering
right
how
now.
you do it. You know exactly what's happening where, both your kids. So,
और इसका तो
that's
मैं रोज
really-
सुनती हूँ ये मुझसे किसी चीज के बारे में बात कर रही होती है एडिट का या कुछ म्यूजिक का या कुछ बात चल रही होती है वो चला हाँ बेटा ये करो ना ये करो
That's-
फिर
that's
वापस आ
our
जाती है
everyday
like
thing.
how are you doing this
But Kajol, was this the same thing when, in the 90s when you were a star there and on top of everything and at the same time you had kids? What was that like? Was the work environment same then?
I have to say that I was probably lucky that I had the most amazing mother-in-law. And she was actually the first person to turn around and tell me, I think when my baby was about a year old, when Nissa was about a year old, she's the one who turned around and told me that, बेटा तुम्हें काम पे जाना चाहिए. क्यों बैठी हो घर पे?
oh wow
क्यों टेंशन ले रही है? हम लोग हैं ना यहाँ पे, हम क्यों आए यहाँ पे? So she was one of those people, not to say that my mother didn't tell me that, but for your mother-in-law to turn around and say that to you was a really, really big deal for me. Yeah. So yes, I had the most amazingly supportive family. I had my sister, I had my mother, I had my mother-in-law, I had, I had great friends. So I really genuinely had the kind of support, and of course I had the willpower. I wanted to go back to work. So when I did want to go back to work, my Nissa was brilliant. My Nissa was fab. She came with me when I had to go for Khan or when I had to go for Fana and all that. She came with me to Delhi, and absolutely fine, traveled with me. In fact, I've traveled with my kids since from the time that I think Nissa was about 4 months old. She was in my arm, in my godi, and traveled the world with me. So, yeah.
Wow. Hats off to both of you and to me, guys.
Absolutely.
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 We mothers are killing it, and how. Thank you so much. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.